For more on Elon Musk's potential conflicts of interest, we've got David Fahrenthold. He is an investigative reporter over at the New York Times. David, it's great to have you on. You've written extensively about Elon Musk's influence over the federal government. If you had to give us one stat, one single biggest thing that comes to mind to kind of showcase that influence, what would you point to?
I'd point to two. One is that he has more than 300 ongoing contracts with the federal government, selling things to the federal government. The other is that he has more than 20 ongoing investigations by the federal government of his businesses. So in both those cases, if he comes in a role where he's now overseeing his customers and his regulators, you can see the incredible conflicts of interest that would result.
David, I'm curious from your reporting, just a concern maybe that you have seen involving this from Elon Musk. And is there anything that you can compare this to in the past, or is this very much almost a new precedent that's being set?
There's really nothing like this in the past. There's been times in the past where presidents have brought in sort of titans of industry to try to run the government like a business, to try to recommend more efficiencies. But those people were never as connected to the government already as Musk is. If Musk is going to truly come in, keep all of his businesses, keep all of his business connections, and then come into this role with the federal government, he's going to be in a place that no one has ever been before, basically a private citizen with the power to oversee his own regulators. So if the FAA blocks a SpaceX launch and he thinks that's wrong, he can now go to Trump and say, you know what, I think the FAA is very inefficient. They should be cut. Their budget should be cut. But he's now going to have power over the people that, in the name of the government, are supposed to have power over him.
You know, David, I'm curious from your reporting, and just given his mass footprint that he does have, is Musk almost going to have just a major footprint in this space no matter who wins? Yes, it might not be a space or a title within the administration, but just given the number of businesses that he has, it almost sounds like regardless, he's going to be obviously a critical figure.
Well, you're right that no matter who wins this election, he's going to have a huge amount of influence over the federal government. And that is most true in the world of space, because his company, SpaceX, basically dictates when NASA and the Defense Department launch their satellites. You know, that dynamic sounds incredible, that NASA would have to listen to somebody else to know when they were going to launch their things, but that's true. He's going to keep that power because there's nobody in the space that has the kind of operation he does. No one can supplant him. So the idea that if Kamala Harris wins, you know, Musk is going to lose this influence or lose his contracts, it's not going to happen. There's nobody who could take his place.
If he does enter this Department of Government Efficiency role, which he talked about on the Tesla earnings call last night, is the pathway to an approval of something like autonomous vehicles just kind of a given?
I mean, the way that we hear Trump and other people around him talk about his potential administration, the way that Musk himself talks about this role, I think you'd have to think that's what's on Elon's mind, that there's a lot of things he wants approval for from the federal government, not just autonomous vehicles. You know, Neuralink needs FDA approval to put things in people's brains. SpaceX needs all kinds of approvals to launch its rockets. And those are the things he thinks are standing in his way. If all of a sudden he now has the power, whether it's formal or informal, to push back against that and clear his own obstacles, yes, you can see what a huge benefit that would be for him.
All right, David, unfortunately, we have to leave it there. We both really enjoyed your article, so thanks so much for taking the time to join us here on Yahoo Finance today.